Do you know who Shin Lim is? Shin Lim is a Canadian-American magician famous for using card manipulation, also for his sleight of hand. He is the only person who won America's Got Talent twice. I would say the show was terrific, beyond my expectation. But then after the show, I kind of reflected, what was it that really captivated me? In his narration of his career, that captivated me. How he started his dream of becoming a magician and failed so many times in his journey to become the great magician. He said, "Strength is not showing what you can do, but overcoming what you cannot do." How many of us think it is hard to find strength when not born with it? All our attempts to improve our quality of life is doomed just because you're not gifted? Is that the way we think? Is that a fact or just an opinion? People who succeed in health and achieve greatness don't follow a formula at all. Most of all, they don't fear failure. The simplest rule of life is this: you cannot have what you are not willing to become. Hi everybody, it's Dr. Adelita here for another episode of my Sunday Drive. How's everybody doing? I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving celebration for those of you who are in the United States. And speaking about Thanksgiving, we typically just stay at home. But this year is different. We went to Henderson, Nevada, which is 20 minutes away from Las Vegas. Las Vegas is not one of my favorite places, to be honest with you, but we went there for a very important matter. I admit I have my personal biases against Las Vegas. I just thought, in my opinion, not a child-friendly or a family-friendly place. That would be, at the bottom of my list to go when I'm with my family, my boys. Attractions, there are many. There are like theme style, state-of-the-art, tall buildings. There are casinos, nice hotels, shows here and there. But perhaps I'm influenced by Western movies that mainly depict Las Vegas as a sin city with sexy dancers, a lot of drinking, people in the streets, smoking pot, gambling all night long, and for adults only shows. Those are my personal biases against Las Vegas. At least that's what I also saw the first time I visited Las Vegas in 2009. It still is true, but this Thanksgiving made me see a different face of Vegas. I think that Las Vegas is also a place where you get to see a display of people achieving their dreams. And I'm going to tell you what that meant. I promise I will get to our real talk here in a minute, but I just want to let me share with you what happened in Vegas. So we had to stay in Henderson, Nevada, which I said was a 20-minute away from Las Vegas, for 3 nights for some important matters. But after lunch, every day for the 3 days, after lunch, we had nothing else to do. So I checked out the Vegas shows online and looked for family-friendly theme shows. I have so many options, actually. I was surprised. There were magical shows, musical shows, and circus. What caught my attention is the magical show. And there are many magicians there, but this particular person, the magician Shin Lim. Shin Lim. Do you know who Shin Lim is? Well, if you watch America's Got Talent, you know who he is. But anyway, Shin Lim is a Canadian American magician famous for using card manipulation, for also for his sleight of hand. He's so good at that. He is known for his elaborate close-up card magic routines where he will remain silent. He would remain silent the entire, act of his trick, but then he times it up. His tricks, he times it up with relevant background music. So nice, perfectly orchestrated. He is the only person who won America's Got Talent twice. That's right. So that caught my attention. And another thing that made me choose Shin Lim's magic show for pastime at Vegas is this. My son's interest in magic actually started many years ago. Ashton particularly quickly developed his fascination with card magic. He showed his magic to anybody who he encountered or is willing to watch him, display his trick. And he developed that interest by himself. I didn't kind of push him to this. It's just is inherent to him. So that's why when I realized Shin Lim is doing magic using cards, I immediately, booked that for us. So when I told my boys I was booking a ticket to watch Shin Lim's magic show, I could tell it already that it felt like Christmas for them. They were so excited. They couldn't hide it. They were walking on our way to the theater. They were walking 4 meters ahead of us. That's how excited they were, as if their feet, their shoes are, lifting them so far enough to reach the venue as quickly as possible. So there's a Shin Lim merchandise booth near the entrance of the theater, and the sales lady was kind enough to offer to take a picture of us. And all the more the boys got so excited. Now as we reach our seats inside the theater, a small pack of cards were inserted at the seat's headrest, on our headrest, with instructions not to touch the cards until Shin Lim said so. And that the boys got even more excited and curious what the show is gonna be all about. I would say the show was terrific, beyond my expectation. We were mesmerized by his incredible sleight of hand and his ability to manipulate objects like a modern day wizard. My boys were so attentive at each act the entire time. I saw their jaws drop several times, and then they would smile and marvel at every act. Now let me make a little confession here. I was like a child too, watching that show. But then after the show, I kind of reflected, what was it that really captivated me? Entire 1.5 show that I don't even want to blink. It's not that Shin Lim is so good in his craft, because I know he is excellent. Otherwise, he would not have secured a place in Vegas as a showman, right? If he's not good. He is really good. But what I didn't expect is his narration of his career. His career story. That captivated me, which I did not expect. He would then tell the audience how he started his dream of becoming a magician and failed so many times in his journey to become the great magician. He said he almost gave up. His show was not a display of card magic, in my opinion. It was a show that tells a story of how he conquered the challenges and disappointments when climbing the ladder of success. He said it was not easy. He had doubts. He injured his hand. He faced language barrier in his performances in different countries. But he went on to become a self-taught, very successful magician, now earning $1 million. Shin Lim was the 13th season winner of America's Got Talent, then was invited back to participate in the first season of America's Got Talent, The Champions. All the champions competed, and he won again. Imagine that. What struck me in the end of his performance is his words. He said, "Strength is not showing what you can do, but overcoming what you cannot do." Overcoming what you cannot do. That's the real display of strength. How many of us can relate to this? How many? Not winning the America's Got Talent. I'm talking about strength. Friends, I'm talking about strength. How many of us think it is hard to find strength when not born with it? How many of us think that strength is only for a few who are gifted? And you happen to be born on this earth without it, not endowed with that gift of strength. How many of us think that way? And because you don't have that gift, you cannot do anything. You cannot change your life. You cannot elevate your standard. You cannot be healthier. You cannot be a better person because you don't have strength. You're not endowed. You're not gifted. All our attempts to improve our quality of life is doomed just because you're not gifted? Is that the way we think? Is that a fact? Is that even a fact? Or just an opinion? Everything you say to yourself is just an opinion. The fact is, we are all living in a timeline with multiple doors of possibilities that we can even self-create and explore and see if we like it. If you can see the best version of yourself in that door of possibility, in that particular door of opportunity, if you can see yourself, best version of yourself in that door, then stay in that possibility. But when you stay, you have to decide to master the skills. If you want to master something, you must do enough repetition in your mind, in your body, enough repetition, and bring out emotion to that repetition so that eventually you don't have to think about it and you just do it. If your goal is to lose weight, for example, okay? If your goal is to lose weight, then look at yourself in the mirror without judgment. Just look at yourself as you are and ask yourself if this is the person that you want to look, you want to feel, you want to be. Because if it's not that person, if you're not that person, then maybe somewhere in your timeline, you've opened the wrong door. Sometime in the past, you've opened the wrong door, and stayed in it too long enough that you began to think it's your possibility. It's your life, and you forgot you could come out of it. If you look at healthy and successful people, do you know what sets them apart from ordinary people? They have adopted the limitless mindset. They choose what they want to think about themselves. They choose what they want to think about themselves. They are inventive and creative in a lot of ways. They are not hung up to fixed definitions of any form of life or reality. They are limitless. They set the reality they want to live. In their chosen reality, they set a goal that is big enough so they cannot achieve it until they grow into someone who can. When you aspire for something great in your health, in your body, in your life, you have to become that person who can manage greatness. That takes patience, perseverance, determination to become that person. Get the point? People who succeed in health and achieve greatness don't follow a formula at all. Most of all, they don't fear failure. Remember, failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough. If you're always overrun by failure in every attempt to lose weight, for example, perhaps your determination and your why is still not clear to you. The reason why you want to lose weight is still not clear to you. So, I told my kids after the show, if you want to be good at something you believe strongly in, that you think you're born to do something great, you need to open the right door. You just need to find the right door, open it. You know that's the right door because that's where you can see yourself working on becoming that person. Shin Lim's card magic performance was a display of a strength of his mind. You cannot have a strong body, a marvelous act, a display of power if you don't have a strong mind. Strength, in his words, is not showing what you can do, but overcoming what you cannot do. The simplest rule of life is this: you cannot have what you are not willing to become. If you want a healthy body, then you must become that person who understands discipline, patience, and hard work. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you watched my video last week. If you have weight problems and are wondering where to start dealing with issues surrounding weight, I invite you to watch that video. I teach you how to tell if you are, too skinny or too fat, and how fat, how skinny are you, without bias. Just an objective tool that you can use to assess where you are right now. If you're in the right door and you love what you're seeing in that mirror, or if not, you can always walk out and find that right door. But you can start with that video. If you have some weight issues, my team is attaching the link to that video in the comment section of this live. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I hope you'll make it a Sunday routine to join me live here in the Lifestyle Changer MD group every Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific time or 10 a.m. Eastern time. And to my kababayans in the Philippines, it's Sunday at 11 p.m. Bye, everyone, and I'll see you next week.